Today, we're diving into a principle that ancient strategists understood intuitively and that modern science is only now beginning to validate. Machiavelli once wrote that a prince must master the perception of power before wielding actual power. What he didn't explicitly say, but what the greatest minds throughout history have always known, is that this perception isn't just external. It's an internal frequency, a silent broadcast that emanates from the core of your being and shapes everything you experience in the external world. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, while others, despite working twice as hard, remain stuck in the same patterns? What if I told you that the difference has nothing to do with luck, intelligence, or even effort, but with something far more subtle, yet infinitely more powerful? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, here's where things get interesting. Your thoughts aren't just abstract concepts floating around in your head. They're vibrational frequencies, tangible energetic patterns that ripple outward into the fabric of existence itself. Think of it like this. Every thought you hold is a radio signal being broadcast into the universe, and the universe, in its infinite precision, tunes in and responds by arranging circumstances that match that exact frequency. Has this ever happened to you? You wake up in a bad mood, convinced the day will be terrible, and suddenly everything goes wrong. Traffic jams, spilled coffee, difficult conversations. Coincidence? Or something far more precise at work? The truth is, you're not a passive observer in this reality. You're an active participant, constantly sculpting your experience through the frequency you emit. Just as a skilled chess player arranges pieces on a board before making the winning move, you're arranging the circumstances of your life through the vibrational field you maintain. And here's the part that might surprise you. Most people are doing this unconsciously, broadcasting frequencies of doubt, fear, and limitation without even realizing it. Machiavelli understood that men judge by appearances, but what creates those appearances in the first place? Your thoughts do. Each thought becomes a template, a blueprint that reality follows with unwavering precision. When patterns of doubt play on repeat in your mind, they compose entire symphonies of lack that the universe faithfully orchestrates into your lived experience. The wise strategist doesn't just control actions, they control the very thoughts that precede those actions, because in that control lies the secret to manifesting desired outcomes. But thoughts alone aren't enough. Stay with me here, because this is where the real power emerges. While your thoughts set the direction, it's your emotions that provide the fuel. Passion moves armies more effectively than logic ever could. Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. Your emotions are the hidden gravity, the magnetic force that transforms internal reality into external experience. The emotional charge behind your thinking creates your unique vibrational signature, and this is precisely why genuine gratitude attracts more abundance than forced positive thinking, why authentic joy draws more happiness than painted-on smiles. What you're about to discover might surprise you, because we're not just talking about feel-good philosophy or wishful thinking. We're talking about a precise mechanism, a strategic system that operates with mathematical accuracy. And once you understand how to work with this system rather than against it, now I want to go even deeper into this topic, because what we've covered so far is just the surface. There's something even more fundamental at play here, something that most people never discover because they're too busy trying to become someone they're not. Machiavelli advised princes to understand their own nature before attempting to rule others, and this wisdom applies directly to your life right now. You see, You carry within you a distinctive vibrational imprint, what I call your soul's unique signature. It's like an invisible fingerprint that rings through the universe. And here's the fascinating part. This signature isn't good or bad, high or low. It simply is. It's your authentic frequency, and it orchestrates your entire existence in ways you probably haven't fully realized yet. This is where so many people get stuck on their journey of transformation. They see someone else's success, someone else's lifestyle, someone else's mindset, and they try to copy it, thinking that if they just mimic the right behaviors or repeat the right affirmations, they'll get the same results. But the universe doesn't respond to performance. It responds to authenticity. Your authentic frequency attracts experiences that harmonize with your true nature while naturally deflecting those that don't serve your path. Think about the last time you forced yourself into a situation that didn't feel right. Maybe it was a relationship, a job, or even a social circle. No matter how hard you tried to make it work, there was always this underlying resistance, this sense that something was off. That wasn't failure, that was your unique signature doing exactly what it's designed to do, protecting you from what doesn't align with your truth. But here's where the real revelation happens, and this is something most people never consider. Behind every action you take, behind every decision you make, there are hidden programs running in the background of your consciousness. These are your unspoken beliefs, and they carry far more power than anything you consciously say or think. It's like hidden clauses in a contract that you signed without reading. While your conscious mind might be proclaiming abundance, confidence, and success, your deeper beliefs might be whispering an entirely different story. And guess which one the universe actually listens to? The whisper, always the whisper. This is the hidden truth behind why some people sabotage their own success just when things start going well. It's not bad luck. It's not external circumstances. It's an internal conflict, a misalignment between what they consciously desire and what they unconsciously believe they deserve. Machiavelli understood that a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, and your internal kingdom operates by the same principle. When desire meets unworthiness, it creates vibrational discord. It's like trying to drive a car with one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. Your conscious wishes reach forward while your unconscious beliefs pull backward, and the result is a spiritual stalemate where nothing really moves. If this resonates with you, subscribe to the channel. This is where we explore the real mechanics of reality creation, not just surface-level theory. The real transformation happens when you bring these hidden programs into the light of awareness, when you recognize that your beliefs must align with your desires like a key fitting perfectly into a lock. This isn't about positive thinking or forcing yourself to believe something that feels false. It's about uncovering what you actually believe in the depths of your being and understanding how those beliefs are shaping your reality right now, in this very moment. The impact of this realization cannot be overstated. Once you see these invisible mechanisms at work, you can't unsee them. Every experience becomes a mirror showing you exactly what frequency you're broadcasting, and that awareness itself becomes the catalyst for genuine change. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to see my hidden beliefs," if this resonates with you. Now let me show you something that happens every single day, yet most people remain completely unaware of it. Think about the last time you walked into a room and immediately sensed the atmosphere. Maybe it felt tense or warm or awkward, but you knew something before anyone even spoke. That's not intuition in the mystical sense. That's you picking up on the invisible language of presence, the energy that arrives before communication ever begins. A master strategist understands that reputation precedes the army, and in the same way, your energetic signature enters every space before your physical body does. This pre-communicative vibration is speaking volumes about you. setting the stage for every interaction, every opportunity, every connection that follows. Your words might be polished and carefully chosen, but if the energy behind them doesn't match, people feel the discord even if they can't articulate why. This is the behind-the-scenes mechanism that determines whether your message lands or falls flat, whether people trust you instantly or keep their guard up. When you align your inner state with pure intention, when there's genuine coherence between what you feel and what you project, the world responds to this harmony in remarkable ways. Your words become vessels for this alignment rather than desperate attempts to create it. The transformation isn't in learning better communication techniques. It's in recognizing that communication has already begun before you open your mouth, and the most powerful conversations happen in silence, in the frequency you're broadcasting through your very presence. But here's where things get even more interesting. And this is a truth that most people struggle with their entire lives: indecision. Machiavelli warned that indecision breeds disaster in warfare and politics, and the same principle applies to your personal reality. The universe speaks in the language of certainty. When you're stuck between possibilities, endlessly weighing options, analyzing every potential outcome, you're not being careful or strategic. You're emitting a frequency of confusion, and that confusion ripples outward, causing the very forces of manifestation to pause, waiting for clear direction from you. It's like trying to navigate while constantly changing your destination. The journey becomes chaotic because the endpoint keeps shifting. Every decision you make, even small ones, sends forth a vibration of certainty that attracts corresponding circumstances. This doesn't mean you need to have everything figured out or that every decision must be perfect. It means your energy must flow with decisiveness, even when the path isn't completely illuminated. The act of choosing creates momentum, opens doors, sets things in motion. Indecision, on the other hand, creates stagnation. It's a frequency that tells the universe you're not ready, and so opportunities hover just beyond reach, waiting for you to commit to a direction. The impact of this on your life cannot be understated. How many times have you missed out on something simply because you couldn't make up your mind? That wasn't bad timing. That was your frequency of uncertainty creating the very delay you experienced. And this brings us to something even deeper, something that operates so subtly you might not realize it's shaping your entire reality, your expectations. Not your hopes, not your wishes, but your genuine expectations. Like a prince who expects loyalty and thereby receives it, your expectations form an invisible blueprint that the universe follows with unwavering precision. Here's the crucial distinction that changes everything. When hope and expectation clash, expectation always wins. You might hope for success while expecting failure, and it's the expectation that determines the outcome. Your expectations anchor deep in the earth of your being, far below conscious thought, and they determine what takes root in your life and what withers before it can grow. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you deeply, fundamentally believe will occur. This is the hidden truth behind repeated patterns in your life. The reason why certain scenarios keep replaying despite your best efforts to change them. Write in the comments, "I choose certainty," if you're ready to shift your frequency. Now, there's something that might seem counterintuitive at first, but once you understand it, everything changes. Most people think that taking action, moving faster, doing more, is the path to transformation. But the real revelation lies in the opposite direction. Machiavelli's most strategic decisions came not from frantic movement, but from moments of calculated stillness. Think about it. When water is turbulent, you can't see your reflection. When your mind is racing with noise and chaos, clarity becomes impossible. Inner turbulence creates outer disorder with mathematical precision. This isn't about meditation retreats or hours of sitting in silence. It's about recognizing that energetic stillness precedes manifestation. When your energy field lacks coherence, when you're scattered across a dozen different thoughts and emotions simultaneously, the universe simply cannot deliver clear results. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while constantly switching frequencies. You get static fragments, but never the full message. This stillness isn't passive. It's not about shutting down or checking out from life. It's an alert serenity, a state where intention can flow unobstructed by mental interference. In those moments of genuine quiet, something extraordinary begins to happen. The voice of the universe becomes audible, not as some mystical whisper from the heavens, but as clarity that emerges when the noise finally settles. A wise ruler reads omens and signs to guide strategic moves, and you have access to the same intelligence if you create the space to perceive it. These are the synchronicities that most people dismiss as coincidence. The repeated numbers you keep seeing, the random conversation that perfectly answers a question you were pondering, the book that falls off the shelf at exactly the right moment. These aren't accidents, they're the universe's subtle language, meaningful patterns orchestrated with precision, but they only become visible when you cultivate inner quiet. This is where the journey gets truly fascinating, because once you start noticing these signs, you realize they've been there all along. You just couldn't see them through the mental turbulence. The impact of this awareness is profound. Suddenly, you're not navigating life blind. You're receiving constant guidance, subtle redirections, gentle confirmations that you're on the right path, or warnings when you're drifting off course. But here's the thing that separates those who manifest consistently from those who struggle. It's not enough to be still and notice signs. You need precision. Machiavelli's strategies succeeded because of precision, not vague intentions or general directions. The universe operates the same way. When people say they want abundance, they're being far too vague. Abundance of what? Money, love, time, freedom, and even those are too broad. The universe requires emotional precision, not just the concept of abundance, but the exact feeling tone of what you desire. If something clicked for you here, hit the like button. It helps this reach others searching for exactly what you just discovered. Think of it like this. A master painter doesn't just reach for red. They select the precise shade, the exact hue that creates the desired effect. You must calibrate your feelings with the same clarity. When your emotions are muddied, when you're feeling a confusing mixture of hope and doubt, excitement and fear, the universe responds with equally muddied, ambiguous results. But when you hold an emotion with crystal clarity, when you can feel exactly what success feels like in your body, what love feels like in your heart, what freedom feels like in your soul, the universe mirrors that precision in physical form. This is the hidden truth behind why some people's manifestations are vague and disappointing, while others experience outcomes that exceed their wildest expectations. It's not about wanting more or trying harder. It's about feeling with absolute precision, creating an emotional blueprint so clear that the universe has no choice but to match it exactly. Put down, "I feel it clearly," if this makes sense to you. Now here's where most people get completely stuck, and it's one of the most frustrating paradoxes you'll encounter on this journey. The harder you chase something, the faster it runs away. Machiavelli understood this in the context of power and warfare. Sometimes a strategic retreat yields far greater victories than a frontal assault. The same principle applies to manifestation in ways that might completely shift your mindset about how this actually works. When you grasp desperately at your desires, when you white-knuckle your way through life trying to force outcomes, You're actually creating the exact opposite of what you want. It's like trying to hold water in clenched fists. The tighter you squeeze, the more slips through your fingers. True manifestation requires something that seems contradictory at first. You need both the flame of desire and the breath of surrender. The desire sets the direction, creates the initial spark, but the surrender is what allows that spark to catch fire and spread naturally. Your role isn't to orchestrate every single detail of how your desire manifests. Your role is to set the intention with clarity and then step back, allowing infinite intelligence to work its magic in ways you couldn't possibly plan or predict. This is the hidden truth behind why people who are desperate rarely get what they want, while those who hold their desires lightly seem to attract them effortlessly. It's not about caring less. It's about trusting more. There's a massive difference between those two states, and that difference determines the entire trajectory of your transformation. But let's talk about something even more practical, something you can apply immediately to amplify the impact of your intentions. Most people think visualization means creating mental movies of what they want. They picture themselves in a new house, driving a new car, living a different life, but it remains flat, two-dimensional, distant. A general preparing for battle doesn't just see the battlefield in his mind. He feels the ground beneath his feet, hears the clash of steel, smells the smoke in the air. That sensory depth is what makes the difference between a vague fantasy and a powerful, reality-shaping force. The universe doesn't respond to pictures in your mind. It responds to the feeling tone those pictures generate within you. When you infuse your visions with sensory aliveness, when you add temperature and texture, scent and sound, when you make it so vivid that your body responds as if it's happening right now, you create an energetic blueprint that cosmic forces can follow with absolute precision. This isn't imagination in the childish sense. This is creation in the most fundamental sense. You're not pretending, you're pre-experiencing. And that pre-experience sends out a frequency so specific, so detailed, that the universe has no choice but to match it in physical form. The transformation happens when your vision becomes so real internally that external reality has to catch up. Now, let me address something that trips up almost everyone at some point, and this is crucial to understand if you want to break free from patterns that keep repeating. Machiavelli taught that fighting on all fronts simultaneously ensures defeat. You cannot win a battle when your energy is scattered across too many conflicts. The same applies to your internal landscape. What you resist persists, not as punishment from the universe, not because you're doing something wrong, but because resistance itself is a form of focused attention. And the law of attraction responds to emotional investment, regardless of whether that investment is positive or negative. When you push against what you don't want, when you fight against circumstances, people, or situations, you're unknowingly strengthening their presence in your life. You're feeding them with your attention, your emotional energy, your mental focus. The more you resist, the more solid they become. True power doesn't come from forceful opposition. It comes from gentle redirection of focus. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, you simply turn your attention toward what you do want, and you let the unwanted fade from lack of nourishment. This single shift in mindset can dissolve obstacles that have been blocking your path for years. Write in the comments, "I release resistance," if you're ready for this shift. Now let me reveal something that most people never consider, yet it affects every single interaction you have. Your energy doesn't stop at your skin. It radiates outward like ripples in a pond, touching everything and everyone around you. Think about the last time you walked into a room where someone was in a terrible mood. Even if they said nothing, even if they smiled politely, you felt it, didn't you? That's because, like a prince whose demeanor sets the tone for his entire court, your energetic state creates a field that influences the atmosphere of any space you inhabit. Every thought, Every feeling, every subtle internal shift sends waves through the invisible fabric of reality. You're not just navigating through life as a separate individual. You're actively contributing to the harmony or discord of every environment you enter. When your internal state is turbulent, you create ripples of chaos that affect others even when you're trying to hide it. But when you cultivate genuine stillness within, you become a mirror for peace. And people respond to that frequency without consciously understanding why. This is the hidden truth behind why certain people seem to change the energy of an entire room just by walking in. It's not charisma in the superficial sense. It's energetic coherence, and it's something you can cultivate deliberately once you understand the mechanism. The transformation happens when you realize you're not just affected by your environment. You're actively creating it through the frequency you broadcast moment to moment. This awareness alone shifts everything because suddenly you're not a victim of circumstances. You're a participant in their creation, but here's where the real revelation emerges, and this is something that will completely change how you approach decisions and actions in your life. Machiavelli made a crucial distinction between action born of desperation and action born of strategic clarity, and this distinction determines whether your efforts lead to success or exhaustion. The universe doesn't just respond to action, it responds to the energy from which that action springs. When you force movement from a place of fear, when you're pushing and striving and grinding because you're terrified of what will happen if you don't, you create massive resistance. It's like trying to swim upstream. You might move forward, but it's exhausting, and the progress is minimal compared to the effort expended. Inspired action, on the other hand, flows naturally from a state of alignment. It doesn't feel like work even though you're accomplishing real things. There's an ease to it, a sense that you're being carried by a current rather than fighting against one. When you act from this place of alignment, even the smallest step opens doorways you never imagined possible. Opportunities appear. The right people cross your path. Resources materialize. This isn't magic or wishful thinking. It's the natural result of moving in harmony with universal flow rather than against it. The impact of understanding this difference cannot be overstated because most people spend their entire lives exhausting themselves with forced effort, when inspired action would yield exponentially better results with a fraction of the energy. And this brings us to something deeply personal, something that's always available to you, but that most people have learned to ignore. Every great ruler throughout history had trusted advisors, voices of wisdom to guide their decisions. You have that same resource, but it's not external. Your intuition is the universe's counsel within you, and these quiet impulses, these gentle suggestions that arise from deeper knowing, are not random feelings or wishful thinking. They're precise cosmic coordinates guiding you toward your highest good. When you tune into this frequency, when you start paying attention to those subtle nudges that don't come from logical thinking, you tap into universal intelligence that knows things your conscious mind cannot possibly calculate. The journey of transformation accelerates dramatically when you learn to trust these intuitive whispers, when you allow them to guide your decisions even when they don't make logical sense. Put down, "I trust my inner guidance," if this resonates with your experience. Now, there's something happening in your life right now that you might not fully recognize, but once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every single relationship you have, every person who shows up in your life, is not random. Machiavelli studied how kingdoms reflect the state of their rulers, and in the same way, every relationship you experience serves as a sacred mirror reflecting your inner world back to you. The universe orchestrates encounters with mathematical precision, bringing you people who match the vibrations you carry within. And here's what makes this revelation so powerful. Your relationships don't reflect your words or your actions or even your conscious intentions. They reflect the subtle frequencies you emanate from the depths of your being. That difficult co-worker who constantly challenges you. They're showing you something about how you challenge yourself. That partner who won't commit. They're mirroring your own lack of commitment to yourself. This isn't about blame or making you feel responsible for other people's behavior. It's about recognizing that when you heal your relationship with yourself, when you transform that internal frequency, all your external relationships naturally realign without you having to do anything to force that change. The impact of this understanding is profound because it means you're never powerless in your relationships. The transformation always begins within, and the outer world has no choice but to respond. But there's something that blocks this natural realignment for most people, and it's one of the heaviest energetic burdens you can carry. A wise strategist knows that holding grudges weakens their entire position, yet so many people cling to resentment as if it's protecting them from future pain. Forgiveness isn't about condoning what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about releasing the energetic chains that bind you to past moments, keeping you anchored in old wounds when you're trying to move toward new possibilities. When you hold grievances, you create invisible tethers that prevent new blessings from reaching you. It's like trying to welcome new people into your life while still clutching photographs of everyone who hurt you. There's no space for the new because you're energetically full of the old. Every thought of resentment, every replay of past betrayals emits a specific frequency that attracts more situations requiring forgiveness. It's a cycle that perpetuates itself until you make the conscious decision to step out of it. And here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The person you're really freeing through forgiveness isn't the one who hurt you. It's yourself. The release creates space for magic to enter, for opportunities that were waiting patiently beyond the wall of your resentment. This is where real transformation accelerates, because forgiveness isn't a one-time event. It's a frequency you learn to maintain, a lightness you carry that says you're no longer available for the weight of the past. But even after you clear the old energy, even after you align your frequency and set your intentions with precision, there's one final piece that determines whether your desires can actually reach you. Machiavelli understood that fortresses with closed gates receive no allies, no matter how desperately they need them. Your capacity to receive determines what can flow into your life, and most people are walking around with gates sealed shut without even realizing it. Like a vessel can only hold what its walls permit, your experience can only expand to match your willingness to actually receive what you've been asking for. The mystical art of allowing sounds passive, but it requires something most people struggle with deeply: trust in perfect timing, genuine relaxation of tension around outcomes, and receptivity to fulfillment arriving in unexpected forms. How many times have blessings tried to reach you, but you were too closed, too defended, too convinced you had to control exactly how and when things happened? Write in the comments, "I am open to receive," if you're ready to let the gates open. Now let me share something that might completely shift how you see yourself and your potential. A prince's power doesn't begin with how others perceive him. It begins with how he perceives himself, and this internal perception becomes the foundation of everything that follows. The universe knows you not by your resume, not by your past accomplishments or failures, but by the energetic signature of who you believe yourself to be in the deepest chambers of your consciousness. This signature acts as a metaphysical anchor, literally drawing experiences that match your innermost truth about yourself. When you walk through life believing yourself to be small, limited, not quite enough, reality faithfully confirms this belief at every turn. Not because you're cursed or unlucky, but because you're broadcasting a frequency of smallness, and the universe is simply matching it with precision. But here's where the transformation becomes available to you. When you expand your self-concept, When you allow yourself to recognize a larger truth about who you are, reality has no choice but to reorganize itself to mirror this new understanding. This isn't about arrogance or pretending to be something you're not. It's about releasing the false limitations you've been carrying and allowing your true nature to emerge. The journey of expanding self-concept feels vulnerable at first because you're stepping beyond the familiar identity that has kept you safe, even if it's also kept you small. But this expansion is where real power lives, where possibilities that seemed impossible suddenly become inevitable. And this brings us to something equally important, something that operates behind the scenes of every manifestation attempt. Machiavelli advised rulers to expand their territories before they became necessary, to create space for growth before that growth was forced upon them. Your inner world operates the same way. Your capacity to receive mirrors the spaciousness of your inner chamber, the expansiveness of what you believe is possible for you. Like water taking the exact shape of whatever container holds it, abundance can only flow into your life to the extent that your energetic vessel allows. When you constrict internally through doubt, through fear, through the belief that you don't deserve more or can't handle more, you create a narrow channel that limits what can reach you. Even if the universe is sending blessings your way, they simply cannot fit through the constricted opening you've created. The expansion begins not with force, but with gentle acceptance of possibility. Can you allow yourself to imagine receiving more than you currently have? Not as fantasy or wishful thinking, but as genuine possibility? That internal yes, that softening of boundaries around what you believe you can hold, creates immediate expansion in your energetic field. And as that field expands, so does your capacity to receive the unimaginable, the things that currently exist beyond your conception of what's possible. But how do you know when you're on the right path, when this expansion is actually working? This is where strategic minds distinguish themselves from those who wander aimlessly. The universe is constantly speaking to you, constantly confirming or redirecting, but most people never learn to read its language. Synchronicities are not random coincidences. They're the visible threads of an invisible tapestry being woven with your participation. These patterns, these repeated numbers, these perfect timing encounters, these moments when the right information arrives at exactly the right moment, their reality arranging itself to support your journey. Each synchronicity serves as gentle confirmation that you're walking in harmony with greater flow, that your frequency is aligned with what you're calling in. Strategic minds read these patterns that others dismiss as mere chance, and in that reading, they gain access to guidance that accelerates their entire trajectory. Put down, "I see the signs," if synchronicities have been showing up in your life. Now let me reveal something that happens every single day in every conversation, yet most people remain completely unaware of its power. The words you speak aren't just sounds that disappear into the air. Machiavelli understood the strategic importance of well-chosen words in negotiations. But the truth goes far deeper than simple persuasion. Beyond their dictionary definitions, words emanate frequencies that ripple through the very fabric of reality. Each syllable you utter sends forth waves of energy that shape the unseen architecture of your experience. Think of words as seeds being planted in the universe's fertile soil. Long after the sound fades, their vibrational signature continues resonating, creating patterns that attract circumstances matching that frequency. When you constantly speak of struggle, limitation, and difficulty, you're planting seeds that can only grow into more of the same. But when you consciously choose words that carry frequencies of possibility, expansion, and ease, you're fundamentally altering the energetic landscape of your life. This is where the journey becomes incredibly practical, because you have complete control over the words you choose, and that choice has immediate impact on your vibrational state. There's one particular frequency that operates like a master key, unlocking doors that force and effort cannot open. A wise ruler shows gratitude to secure loyalty and strengthen alliances, but gratitude operates on a level far beyond social courtesy. It's not merely a polite response to blessings already received. Gratitude is a metaphysical frequency that summons new realities into being. Each sincere expression of appreciation creates a vibrational doorway through which greater abundance flows naturally. When you say, "Thank you," and mean it from the depths of your being, you're not just acknowledging what is, you're actively calling forth what will be. Words of appreciation act as keys, unlocking dimensions of experience that exist beyond your current circumstances. The universe responds not to the words themselves, but to the energetic signature behind them, and genuine gratitude carries one of the most powerful signatures available to you. But here's where most people stumble, and this might be the most important revelation you'll encounter on this entire journey. There's a delicate dance between wanting something and allowing it to come to you, and getting this balance wrong is the reason most people never manifest what they truly desire. Machiavelli taught that sometimes the appearance of indifference brings what desperate pursuit cannot, and this paradoxical truth applies directly to manifestation. The more intensely you cling to specific outcomes, the more desperately you need things to happen in a particular way, the more they seem to slip through your fingers like sand. It's not that the universe is withholding from you, it's that your clinging creates a frequency of lack, of not having, and that frequency repels the very thing you're trying to attract. True power, the kind that actually produces consistent results, lies in balancing desire with detachment. You need clear intention, that flame of knowing what you want. But you also need peaceful surrender, the breath that allows that flame to spread naturally without you trying to control every flicker. When you can hold both simultaneously, when you can want something deeply while also being okay if it doesn't arrive exactly as you imagined, you activate the most potent form of attraction available. This is the hidden truth that separates those who manifest consistently from those who struggle endlessly. The universe cannot deliver through clenched fists. You have to maintain the intention while releasing the grip, and in that space between wanting and allowing, magic happens. Opportunities appear from unexpected directions. Solutions emerge that you never could have planned. The right people, resources, and timing align with a precision that defies logical explanation. Write in the comments, "I hold lightly," if this resonates with where you are right now. Now there's something that might challenge everything you've been taught about success and achievement. Most people believe in the power of intensity, those bursts of massive action, those moments of peak motivation where you feel unstoppable. But here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to intensity. It responds to steadiness. Like maintaining a kingdom requires consistent governance rather than sporadic efforts. Your emotional frequency creates ripples in the fabric of reality, and these ripples, when maintained with patience and consistency, form stable patterns that manifest as lasting change. It's not the occasional peaks of perfect alignment that shape your reality. It's the steady emotional weather you maintain day after day, the baseline frequency you return to when life gets challenging, the vibrational home you've built for yourself. This is why people who have dramatic breakthrough moments often find themselves back where they started within weeks, while those who cultivate steady, consistent alignment experience transformation that actually lasts. The impact of understanding this shifts your entire approach, because you stop chasing peak states and start building sustainable frequencies. And there's something else operating in the background of all this, something that accelerates everything when you align with it. Machiavelli advised strategic generosity as a way to build alliances and strengthen position, but there's a universal mathematics at work here that goes beyond politics. What you release into the field returns to you multiplied. This isn't karma in the simplistic sense or some moral judgment system. It's pure energetic mechanics. Energy must complete its circuit, and when you give with pure intention from a place of genuine abundance rather than manipulation or expectation, you activate a frequency that naturally attracts corresponding experiences. The secret lies not in giving to receive, though receiving is the natural consequence. The secret lies in giving as an expression of your inherent abundance, recognizing that you already have enough to share. And in that recognition, you align with prosperity's natural flow. This is where most people block themselves without realizing it. They withhold because they fear there isn't enough, and that fear of scarcity creates the very scarcity they're trying to avoid. But when you give freely, when you share your time, energy, resources, wisdom, you're making a statement to the universe about who you are. You're declaring yourself abundant, and the universe responds by confirming that declaration in physical form. Now we arrive at the final revelation, the one that brings everything full circle and reveals the ultimate strategic wisdom. You are not separate from the power you've been learning to work with. You are the power itself. When you manifest, you're not reaching out to some distant universe, hoping it will grant your wishes. You are the universe expressing itself through this particular human experience. The boundary you've perceived between yourself and creation, between the one who desires and the one who delivers, that boundary is an illusion. When you truly grasp this, when you feel it in the core of your being, manifestation transforms from an external pursuit into the natural flowering of your authentic nature. You're not trying to attract something from out there. You're allowing something within you to express itself in form. This recognition dissolves the seeking, the striving, the desperate reaching. You realize you are both the witness and the force, the stillness and the expression, the observer and the manifestation itself. Everything you've been looking for, you already are. Put down, I am the source, if this truth is landing in your awareness right now. So if you've made it this far, if you're still here with me in this moment, that tells me something important about you. You're not just casually scrolling through content looking for entertainment. You're genuinely seeking transformation, and that intention alone sets you apart. The insights we've explored together today, these aren't surface-level tips or quick fixes. This is the foundational understanding that changes everything once you truly integrate it into your being. If this resonated with you, if you felt something shift as we move through these principles together, I'd love for you to join this community by subscribing to the channel. The content here is designed for people who are ready to go deeper, who want to understand the actual mechanics behind reality creation rather than just hoping things will magically improve. Every video is crafted with that same intention, that same commitment to revealing what actually works rather than what sounds good. And let me know you made it to the end by dropping a comment that says, "This message was meant for me. I read every single one, and there's something powerful about declaring your presence, about letting the universe know you received this transmission. Your engagement helps this reach others who need to hear it. So, if you found value here, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a simple gesture that creates real impact. Now there's a video right here that takes what we've covered today and goes even deeper into practical application. It complements this perfectly, and honestly, if you've come this far, you owe it to yourself to continue. Click and come with me over there. The journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning.